Good morning, Misty here, and I'm here to share a quick tutorial on some little cards that I'd like to put together for permission slips for Stephanie, who I'm a part of her Facebook group. Today I'm here to show you that I typically create them on cards. I don't like how small a deck of cards are. So what I end up doing is collecting old tarot cards from bookstores, and I paint over them and repurpose them for different things. And here's a collection of them that I found. I've picked out 3 to paint. And the first thing that you're going to do is, I'll go over my supplies list. I use gesso. I'm going to use Moss Podge for a different technique, and I am designing on the fly, so we'll see if these turn out pretty. I only brought 3 delusional sprays for the video, but I do work with a lot of other colors. But I'm using Dirty Martini, Funky Fuchsia, and Campo Teal. Glazing, I do like to use glaze. It's Faber-Castell glaze. We'll be using a little bit of yellow paint. I'll be using some black golden fluid paint. Our little micron pens. Our Faber-Castell Pitt artist pen. And this handy little tool that I got with my Faber-Castell Gelato markers. So the first thing I'm going to do, we'll be using a pair of scissors and a script block. You will also need baby wipes, and I myself like to use wax paper for this. And it's only because how much liquid that we use. So the first thing I like to do is cover the cards completely with gesso. And then what I'm going to do for this card is I'm actually going to take some of this paper here. Cover the card in Mod Podge. Just like so. And I'll go ahead and slap a little bit onto the paper as well. I just feel that it holds more. There you go. There we go. And lift that off the paper and just set that off to the side so it can dry. If you wanted to, you can go ahead and trim off some of the excess paper. And the reason why I like to use cards versus watercolor paper is that they react to chemicals much differently. And for what I like to do, the clear coat that goes on cards work extremely better. So that card is off to the side and just set to dry for now. Another technique that you can do is add a little bit of texture to your cards. But what we're going to do now is add some color. sorry about that noise, but I don't like the Tim Holtz heating gun. It takes a long time for it to dry, and it doesn't really give me the effect that I want. And even the other heating tool, it doesn't blow out enough air to give our cards this effect. And I'll take the card off of that so you can actually see the effect that it gives our card. So the next step I'm going to do with this card is give it a little bit of texture. So I'm going to grab my archival ink and just kind of go over my script. And I don't want a lot, I really don't want a pattern. I want a little bit more than that in that corner. As that happens, I just will put that off to the side. And I thought for this one, I can go ahead and give it some stitches maybe. I thought that might look pretty interesting. And I use this Paper Pizzazz Easy Stitch. And then I kind of use it just like so. And then I will take my plaster, get out my little debit card here, and it does not need much at all. So I'm going to remove most of that. Add a little bit of texture, just like so. You'll normally want to soak anything that you put your plaster on immediately after the water. So now what I'm going to do is take a few minutes and I'm going to dry the stitches on the side of the card, and I'll place you on hold for that. Alright. I think that that is dry enough for me to go ahead and color them in, but actually I kind of like the effect that they had now that they dried, and I kind of like for it to stand out. So I think I'm going to leave it just like that. And now what I'm going to do is come up with the permission slip. I think for me, the only permission, at least one permission that I need to give myself is permission to create freely, and not to expect perfection out of each creation that I make, because I really do mess up at least 20 projects before I have a nice first project to be able to share with everybody. And so that's a really important part, at least for me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I'm going to put I'm just going to put the word free on it, because I know what that means to me. And I actually don't think I'm going to like that on there. So what I'll do next is I'm going to add some more layers. I actually don't think I'm going to like the words on there. So now what I'll do is I'll grab some water, dip my brush into the water, put just a smidgen of the golden down. I'm just using fluid black, and I really want to kind of saturate most of the ink into that, and just put a few of these down. I like that. So I'll rinse out my brush. can do is use your wipe, or at least I've learned that when I'm doing multiple colors with my brushes, I do like to rinse them out. One in dirty water and one in a little bit of cleaner water. And then kind of dry them off. It kind of prevents the the black intermixing with the yellow, because I really think that I'd like to have some yellow thrown on here. So what I'm going to do is dip some of the water, put it on the mat itself, and then of course it's in the brush as well, and just put a smidgen. This one here, it's a lot harder to get just a smidgen of color, so I'll end up wasting quite a bit of this. I kind of like the smaller knobs, so I'm just going to, I think that's probably all the yellow that I'll put on there, because I'm not much of a yellow fan. So I'll clean our brush, and I think for now what I'm going to do is dry this card and set it off to the side where we can start working with the other card. I'll place you on hold so you don't have to listen to the hairdryer. Alright, also when you're blow drying your card, just make sure that you don't put it on a high setting so that way it doesn't splat. I mean, if you want a splatter dot look, then that's fine, but if you want to keep them drips like I have, that's kind of what you do. So on the card I put paper on. It's dry enough for me to go ahead and apply color. Well, I'm going to add a little bit of texture to it first. Do something a little bit different with this card. I'll go ahead and add a little bit of texture and give it some interest. I'm trying to get it as thin as possible, and that it's just more of a drying time than anything else. So I think that will work. Now, normally everybody will tell you to let that set and dry before you actually work on it. I have found that I like the way the colors interact when the plaster is wet. So I'm going to go back in with my colors. I got a lot of purple on that one last time, so I will go ahead and put it like that. And then just do a real quick blast to it, so that way it kind of spreads out the ink. So So yet again, I have another background completed. It's going to take a little time to dry, because you normally want to give them plenty of time to dry. And this is how the first step of this permission card came out. This cute little card. You can do a lot of different things with these. The next card, what we'll do is, I don't like wasting any kind of ink, so I'll go ahead and get the yellow onto the card, and then get a little bit of green going with it, add a little bit of pink, and some blue down at the bottom, and then go ahead and blast it. plenty dry enough, but I didn't put it on my mat, which gives us a sturdy mess. So, and it gets it on the back of the card as well, and the drying time takes a lot longer when you do stuff like that. So that's the reason why I set it on the wipe and the wax paper. Kind of prevents that. So for this one, what we're going to do is I'm going to put a thin layer of glaze on it, and I'm only going to tap the glaze on, and that's just because I don't want to put paint strokes onto the card. That's the only thing that for the desired look that I like to accomplish with my cards. I hate the fact that the dilutions reactivate, but I haven't found any other inks that give me as much pigment that I like to see in my work than dilutions. The alcohol inks work okay, but nothing is quite like the dilutions. So now what I'm going to do, I've got that onto the card, and you've got like this weird puddle mess, and what I'm going to do is blow dry it. But I'm going to put you on hold for that one. So when we're finished drying this one, you get this really cool kind of crackle glossy look, and kind of still looks wet, which I really do like for backgrounds. So I hope you've enjoyed these different techniques that I've used for these permission slip cards. And I thought I'd show you what a completed one looks like. And this is what you can do with them once you have all your layers dried. You just add your saying to it, and this one's Bloom, Be Who You Are. And it just came out really nice. I really do like them. So I'd love to see you make some of your own cards. And I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll see you next time.